Hi everybody. I really am behind. I'm going to start to get a handle on catching up, I think. So my field notes, this cover will be joined to here, and that's the first page and an intro, 2 intro pages. So that's the back, and that'll be stuck down to that when it is finished. So let's get on with this. I'm not even up to the next bird prompt yet, but where's my right, I'm going to bumble around a bit today. But anyway, my little basket, and I have been making, okay, this is funny because I thought I'll just do a little bit of crochet in an evening because I haven't had a lot of spare time just this past week or two, which is fine. And the funny thing is, of course, everyone knows Lily works at Sheridan, and I had this very, very old pillowcase, and we did a big thing cleaning out the linen closets. And this pillowcase had been with us for, I don't know, 20 years or something, but it's just one of those ones that had all this really pretty roses, flowers and things. Anyway, I ended up tearing it down, and the point I'm making about Sheridan is it turned out it was an old Sheridan pillowcase. And where's my tin? Here it is. I've got lots of little tins, and I've started to use my Dynamo label to label them all so I know what's in where. And I've been collecting a few labels as I tear down things and rip up stuff and use stuff. But look at this. It's the Super Carl Luxury Per Carl Sheridan label. And look how old that is. We thought that was quite funny. Anyway, little things amuse little minds. But I decided to make a basket. And then out of my stash, as you saw, I had the sheets and everything from, I think this sheet set was from the op shop for about $6. There was a fitted sheet, a doona cover, 2 pillowcases, and I've torn them all down. But after I got to about here, I realised I wanted a little bit more of a lip. I'm going off. This is nothing to do with Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, but I'm just catching you up. And I was crocheting it, and I just realised it looks like a Christmas, those Christmas lollipop stick things. What are they called? Those minty sticks. And that made me laugh. So I thought I'd show you because that was funny. Anyway, put that aside. Get back to the task at hand, as Lily and I are saying every day. Let's get back to the task at hand. We have got the storage unit. I think we've finished with the last drop at the storage unit. We're still trying to find someone for her flat, for her unit, because of course she has to pay rent until we find someone. So that's proving quite stressful. Let's get on to field notes. Bit of a playthrough. Let's have a playthrough. Why not? Spring. Hello, little birdie. Summer. Beautiful strawberries. Little tag. Hot sun. Oh, feels so nice. Summer into autumn. So I had already done a bird, and I had a feeling we'd have to do a bird, but I still haven't finished. So this is where I'm up to with the Mossy Woods. So I've done a little bit of embroidery up here on that bit of beautiful felt, which is something I made years and years ago, as you would know if you've been following along. I have put these little felt circles, and I was talking about those tiny weeny Suffolk puffs. I don't have a spare one. In the end, I've folded them inside out so they look like a little bit like mushrooms, and I've I've couched down that little bit of one tiny little bit of this variegated bitsy wool that had blues and greens in it. I think someone might have wound a few together to do some knitting, and it was just a little scrap that was stuck on the sticky tape of one of the op shop bags. So I've used that, and I've now put this beautiful doily on. This might get covered, I don't know. The bird is the next prompt for the last one for autumn, so I'm just going to do a little bit here on my mossy woods. I just wanted to get a little couple of these little green beads on. So here's some 3814 floss, and I just want to use a bit of floss with these beads, so it's not like a white cotton or anything like that, just so it blends in a little bit more. Hope everyone's well, and very grateful to be here and have a chat to you all. And I missed my regular YouTube catch-ups. Let's start on this side. That way it's squishied in the middle of the page and not going to run over too much. So we're getting very lovely weather. We're in the early 20s most of the time currently, or as low as 18, that's Celsius. And we've got on Wednesday a heat wave. We've got a 33 degree coming up. Isn't that amazing? 33 degrees in the middle of spring. So before I put any more, I'm going to add another one of these little boulders. Because I thought they were quite fun. And I've been contemplating, do I put the matching bird on the next page, or do I consider that I've already done a bird and leave it at that? It would work. It'll work okay to do it that way because the prompt was autumn colours, so I've got the bird in on the page for autumn colours, but there's no reason I can't use that as a bird for this last prompt after this mossy woods. So what has everyone been up to in their spare times? I know Rachel was talking about the Australian Outback series called Territory, and yes, I did watch that, and yep, worth it, Rachel. Keep plugging through, because it's a funny show. It kind of, I might have already talked about it. I really don't know. Everything's a bit been all over the place, so I don't know if I've mentioned it, but it really is the worst of Australia. Like, in some ways. It's, I don't know, it's not portraying Australians as very nice. But it's quite interesting how competitive it could be to be on a cattle station. And it did get very, there are bits that are a bit not nice, and there are some not nice characters, but for an Australian production, sorry Australia, but they're not always great. They're always sort of a bit behind the eight ball or something. It's really good. It's really well filmed. Some of the characters are likeable, some aren't, but that's good. You need that. You need that kind of, maybe that's long enough. Yeah, you need that variety. But by the end, you're sucked in. by the end you're totally sucked in, and then it's only it's only 6 episodes in the season, and you go, what's that? 6? What's that all about? Only 6? And then you kind of go, that ended, and I wasn't ready for that to end like that there without another follow-up episode. So they've got us on a cliffhanger, which, if you think about it, to get the funding and stuff, that's probably a good thing to get season 2 up and running. But there you go. Quite interesting. So that's what I was watching. And if you've got a VPN, so I know there are a lot of YouTubers that get sponsored by a VPN company to sell it this way, but if you have got a VPN, you can log out of your Netflix if you're in another country and log into your VPN and say that you're in Australia. Just set it as being in Australia, and then you can re-log back into your Netflix and it will recognise, or any of them actually, it'll just ask you if you're travelling, and you just say yes. Or just say, it looks like you're travelling. And go, yeah, I am. Because you are allowed to use your account anywhere, so long as you're there. So you can watch Territory if you're in another country, if you want to, if you wish to. And you can watch anything else that's on Australian Netflix that might not be on anywhere else, if you want to. So what else has been happening? Well, I did fill you in. We had a death in the family, and that was a bit sad. And the funeral's next week. It's quite a way away, so I'll probably take a day, drive up and go there out of respect for my brother-in-law. It's the second close death to him. Same happened last year. His brother died just before Christmas, so now his stepfather's died. So it's sad. It's a bit sad, but it'll be our second Christmas where his side of the family are grieving, and we always go to his house, my sister and him, for Christmas. So we'll see what happens. Probably his sister might come again. She has been off travelling around in her caravan and having a lovely time. Bit jealous. Just a little bit jealous. And now I know I've been talking about the sleep in the van. It's kind of getting a bit closer, because now Lily's going, actually, that's a good idea, and I haven't got a car, and she's thinking of doing it too. Just because when you live in a shared house, you can't always afford to go and pay accommodation, and sometimes you just want to get away, have a little break. So she's thinking, oh, maybe that's a good idea. Okay, so some little greeny foresty berries. These are actually little gemstones. They're I don't know what it's called, that green. Fluorite. It's not fluoride, it's fluorite. Anyway, they're gemstones, whatever they are. So that's nice. Some little gems in the forest. Now, I really, really wanted to do some bundles of French knots, and I think I've got quite a few different wools here, and they're thicker. Where's my Appletons? Not here, yes. Oh, there's some. That's the Appletons I used. Just beautiful. But definitely got a bit of rickrack too. This old rickrack. I think a bit of rickrack might be nice for a stalk for a mushroom, and I'm going to cut it and stitch it and then think about what the mushroom top's looking like. So that's first things first. Just use that one that I was using before. Let's put it along here. I can fill in some of the French knots to get, you know, like a kind of a forest floor vibe going. Let's get this down. Just pin it so it stays where it's got to be. There. There. So I was just saying to Lily yesterday, it's a bit, it's like it went from 0 to 1,000, and that often happens with Lily. She's quite the get on it girl. But of course, when that happens, for me, it's a little bit of a toll on my nervous system. And I've been sick for 2 days with, because we've been busy and unorganised. Well, we've been organising, but the normal day-to-day has become unorganised. I guess we've had a pizza one day, and we've had Luxa from the shop one day, and so my nervous system and my stomach have well and truly started to play up, and I've had to remind her that I'm older. I'm not 20 anymore. Sadly. Wish I had the energy to go and do all the things that these young folks do. Anyway, it's funny, you know, because, you know, you say that you can and can't do certain things, but then, funnily enough, when I went on that little road trip up to Robertson last to the Green Door Studio for the open day, when I was away from everyone reflecting back to me that I can't do anything, I actually felt I could do a lot more. So it's quite interesting, the stories we tell others and the stories we tell ourselves. And I'm just reflecting on that at the moment, because booking to go to New South Wales for December for the Roxy Girls and Juju's workshops. I'm doing the first 3-day one and then the second 1-day one, and I just have to honour the fact that I love a road trip and I love going and doing all these things, and that whether or not my partner can come with me or not, I am still going to do them. I'm still doing them. That's a bit round. And that's how it is, you know. I've got to still do it. But I said to Kate the other day, I really, really miss just being able to pop up for just for the open days at Green Door. Like, just the hang out with the local ladies, because it's such fun. I love it so much. Will this work? Just grabbing things out of my little tub there. No, you know what I need? A little bit of a lacy frilly bit. All right, I might put that on a bit later. I want to get onto some French knots first. I'm going to get a bit of lace. Maybe I should have used that. That would have been interesting. I didn't think about that. So I decided that there are just times where you just have to honour yourself and say, this is something I need. That's sharp enough. Not big enough. And so I've decided to extend it. That's going to be too big. A couple of days before. Oh my goodness, that's not sharp enough to go through. I need one that the wool will go through but that's sharp. Here, let's try that. Might be a bit. Here's my little threader. Need a bit of help with this one for the threading. This one. So I've decided to, rather than just drive up straight there, and rather than just leave at the end and come straight back, Kate said, why don't you stay an extra day or two and come to the last open day at Green Door, which is on the 17th. And I thought, well, none of my pet sitting is starting till, I think, Christmas Eve now. I thought, maybe I'll do that. But this is where the having a van comes in handy, because if you're on a pension or on a budget, trying to afford every night somewhere to stay is a bit much. Like even at my Big Four discount and staying in the cheapest cabin, the cheapest is still, you know, further out, $85, closer to, say, Sydney, but up to 120, and that's a night. So it's not a cheap holiday by any means. So just really thinking more about that. That having a van you can sleep in at least some of the time and stay at, you know, like on the tent site, you can stay on if you've got solar panel on the van, you don't need to stay even on a ensuite if you're happy to walk over to the toilets for a shower, you know, in a caravan park. Then you're down to $20 a night or something, because you still have to pay for your petrol. Anyway, I am waffling on. It's closer, that's what I'm saying. It's taking its time, but it's closer. So I'm doing French knots to get some sort of forest floor vibe happening. And I haven't booked anything, because what I've booked is one night on the way up at actually Womboyne rather than Pambula. I love Pambula, but at that time of year their prices, they just skyrocket. So Womboyne's only $85 for the night. So it's only for a night. I'll just drive, then I'll be there, then I'll sleep, then I'll get up and go. And the thing is, am I going to do anything else before this? You know, I've got a stay the night before at Moss Vale in the caravan park, and I think I've got 2 nights after that Womboyne one to fill in, or one, I can't remember, 1 or 2, up in Sydney. So I've spoken to Corin and Dawn, who are going to possibly do a road trip up to Beck's shop on the day before we start the workshops with the Roxy girls, and also a visit to a a different sewing basket, which is a bigger one, higher, further up a bit, up the coast a bit. So I'm not sure, but anyway, I've spoken to Dawn and I've spoken to Corinne, and Susanna will be there as well. And I know what their movements are, so I can somehow work out where to join them along the way if I want to, and if we have to see if there's enough room in the cars and all that sort of stuff, because I do believe Dawn and that's right, Susanna, sorry, I've lost my train of thought there. Dawn and Susanna will both have their husbands with them, so I don't know if the plan is to leave the husbands behind to go up to Beck's shop or not. I don't know. We will see. We will see. So I've got time to do that if I want to. All right, I think I want to fill in. I'm just going to cast off here and fill in this colour around the place, and then bring in another colour, because I have got a lighter colour. It's pretty much the same, it's just thicker wool and a mid-tone. I've got a few different tones I can use, so let's snip that off. Oh, I keep losing my scissors. Let's put them there where I can see them. Put that up there. I'll put it just right next to me. And then I will fill in a bit of the other colours. And so the question, of course, then is after the workshop, if I want to, I've got to stop off on the way back at Wodonga, a halfway stop, because the drive, if I go straight after a workshop, it's too far to drive at night. So the question is whether to stay another 2 days in Moss Vale and just get my Wodonga overnight to be 2 nights later, so I can go to the Green Door for the open day. It'd be nice, lovely to hang out with Kate again and see all the local ladies. I think if I had a van, I'd be up there all the time. So good. I mean, it's not like we couldn't make something like that here, you know, in Melbourne, and probably could. But the whole notion of getting out into, you know, the trees and all of that sort of stuff is just divine. Anyway, it's still up in the air. So there you go. Okay. Now we're getting a bit of a mossy forest look. Mossy woods. that little stem of that mushroom or toadstool just poking through there. I like it. Okay, there we go. Oh, I just saw this. I know it's yellow, but it would make perfect sense to have it here. So as part of like looking like a leaf on the forest floor. I know I'm procrastinating about this, but it's just simply because the idea that I'd like to use, oh, that would have been wonderful. Oh, that would have been so good. That's not to say I won't still do that, but wanting to use a bit of lace underneath it, they're right over the other side of the room, so I'm procrastinating about getting onto that. All right, let's get this little silkworm cocoon in here. Now you do need a sharp needle for these. They can be a little bit hard to get through. Let's see, will this work? The creative muse having a word. Don't see why not. Just secure it underneath. So we're starting to get somewhere with autumn, get near the end. Well, we've had the last prompt, so I've got my autumn colours into my mossy forest. Now, the question is whether or not I am going to carry it over here, whether, if that is a 2-page prompt or 3 pages, whether I cut this off and stitch back some of the original backing, because I couldn't find it, but now I've since found it. And I think, oh, I'll tell you what, that I should have stuffed them. That's what I should have done. Maybe I will. All right, I'm going to work on this behind the scenes and come to some decisions about whether I'm going to do another bird or whether I'm going to just focus on getting some more stitching done on these areas, because I did say I wasn't sure whether I was going to go around each leaf like I've done here. But now I'm back in the swing of things and we've been able to get our timetables a bit more organised. I can probably now get round to that. So I think that might be what I do next. And a bit more mossy forest floor. And honestly, I was just looking at the back to see if I could cut it and stuff it, but there's oh, I can. Yeah, I probably can. Now that's proper trapunto. I'll show you. Trapunto. Because this is the seam. Sometimes I think I'm wrapping up and then I go off on another tangent. I saw a little bag of stuffing here yesterday. Okay, I found a little stash. So put a little bit of this inside. Proper tupunto. Oh yes, that's better. A little bit more. That's really what a rock should look like. And goodness knows where my needle went. And it's not that one. It's the other one. Oh my goodness. Oh, I think it's fallen into the bottom of the tub. Hidden down the bottom there. This is what we'll use. Oh, sorry about that. The helicopters are really noisy in this garage. Okay, I've just used some of this, no label, from someone's stash, don't know what it is. And I am just going to stitch the back together to hold the stuffing in. I might do the other rocks as well if I can, however I'll do it off camera and show you next time. Get a little bit of 3D in there. There we go. So, what's everyone doing? How's everyone going with things like Thanksgiving? It's not something we celebrate in Australia. However, I have thought about it. Kate's doing one. I'm thinking about it. Now that Lily's home, we can do a traditional Christmas decoration dinner, which last year it was at my daughter's house, Lisa's house, the oldest daughter. So possibly this year we're going to do that at my house. I think Lisa and Mitch have been looking for a place now, and I think they are thinking that if they find a place, they might have moved, or they might be moving. So, oh, isn't that pretty? So I think it might be me. I think that's way too big for the rest of the picture. Too big. This beautiful bit of lovely, lovely lace, which still don't know what it's from, but it's just beautiful. What about this? I think that needs to be centered like that, and then cut around. Now I think what I'm going to do is taper this so as it fits without interfering with this. Get that out of the way. Cut that. Cut this one. the top's going to be quite a bit smaller. You can make it high. So a little bit more like this. There, that's a bit better. Might be able to just make a little stitch or something here to make it fold a bit, and so it doesn't flap over too much on that. That's what I might do. So just pin this down to remind myself, and pin this other side. Okay, all right, this time I think I'll finish. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for being here and coming along for the ride. I really do appreciate it, especially those of you who have stuck by for quite a long time. It's just beautiful. Thank you very much. So I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.